It was supposed to be a quiet morning in Flagstaff, a routine hearing, nothing more. But the second the courtroom doors groaned open, the air thickened with something unspoken, electric. Everyone sensed it. This day would not be ordinary. The wives sat apart, each a fortress of composure or unease. Cody sat rigid, jaw clenched, eyes fixed ahead, yet a vein throbbed at his temple like a warning light. Robin clutched a letter, not just any letter, but one penned in the hand of Cody's deceased mother, Alma, a letter she had vowed to bury with her. Before the judge even entered, Christine slammed her hand onto the table. Her voice cracked like a whip. The letter must be read first. Gasps filled the courtroom. Robin's grip tightened on the envelope. Mary stirred from her years of silence, and for the first time, her voice cut through the tension. Then I'll read it myself. Cody's face froze, stone-like, a mask of disbelief and dread. What was in that letter? What secret had been hidden so carefully, so fiercely, that its revelation could topple not just inheritance, but the entire legacy of the Brown family? The gallery, cramped and tense, held its breath. Spectators, family, neighbors, a handful of reporters, leaned forward as if the weight of what was about to unfold could crush them. Cody's hands rested rigidly on the defense table, Robin beside him, fists clasped tight. Across the aisle, Christine's gaze was icy, unwavering. Janelle remained stoic, a wall of quiet resolve. Mary's expression was inscrutable, eyes upward, waiting for courage that seemed to come from nowhere. The bailiff announced the judge. But Christine cut through the ceremony. "Your Honor," she said, voice steady but loaded. "Before we proceed, the letter written by Robin Brown must be read into the court record." Shock rippled through the room. The judge, silver-haired with eyes sharper than steel, leaned forward. "Miss Brown, why was this letter withheld from pretrial discovery?" Robin's mouth open, closed. Cody leaned in, whispering something, but it was swallowed by the tension. Christine did not wait. She slammed down a pre-filed motion. This letter could alter the entire framework of this hearing. Alma Brown's final wishes, never shared, may have been violated. Robin lunged for the envelope. Cody grabbed her wrist, gentle yet firm. Every eye in the room saw it, a secret struggling to escape. The judge called a brief recess. When they returned, the courtroom fell silent as Mary broke the seal. The yellowed, folded paper trembled in her hands. She read aloud, "To my children and those who married them. If you are reading this, I have passed, and my son Cody has disobeyed my final request. I wanted him to divide the inheritance equally among all 5 women faithful to him for decades. Not just his legal wife, not just his favorite. All of them. If he does not comply, the deed to the Flagstaff house will go directly to Christine and Janelle, because they bore the weight of this family when I could not." Pandemonium erupted. Journalists scrambled. Christine's mouth hung open. Janelle covered hers. Robin jumped, yelling, "That's a lie!" She despised Christine. The judge slammed the gavel. Silence, sharp and commanding. But Cody remained frozen, eyes on the floor, illusions of family dissolving in that moment. The judge ruled, today's hearing suspended. The letter's gravity demanded investigation. The room emptied into a storm-lashed Flagstaff morning, umbrellas colliding, cameras rolling. Inside, Christine pored over deleted emails and texts, evidence of Cody's manipulation. Janelle joined her, silent solidarity in a storm of betrayal. Cody entered, aged, hollowed, and silent. Robin beside him, pale, mascara smudged, exhausted from the night's tears. The courtroom reconvened. Christine revealed emails. Cody scheming to reroute property titles to Robin, months before Alma's death. Gasps echoed. Robin whispered, "You're lying." He never said that. Cody shifted, calculation etched in every twitch. Mary stood, flash drive in hand. "I confirm the source. These drafts were mine to discover." Cody intended to deceive. The courtroom shattered. The voicemails from Alma, the deleted wills, the cover-up, they were all proof. Cody cornered, his empire of lies crumbling. Robin, trembling, confessed her part, her voice raw. "I was there. I let it happen." Truth, unrelenting, burned through the courtroom. The judge ordered recess, evidence secured, and the storm outside raged in tandem with the storm inside. But by the next morning, panic set in anew. Alma's letter and the flash drive, gone. Christine's face betrayed nothing, but the weight of what was missing pressed on everyone. Cody, unusually calm, left a fleeting hint of satisfaction behind his mask. Robin's face was white as ash. The judge's voice cut through the chaos. "I want this courthouse thoroughly searched. Nothing leaves this building until accounted for. And with that, part 1 ends, not with resolution, but with a chilling promise. The storm had only begun. The storm had only begun. The courtroom felt unnaturally still. The judge's voice cut through the silence. I want every employee's log of access checked for the past 24 hours. But it was too late. The flash drive, the irreplaceable proof of Cody's manipulation, was gone. Without it, all of Christine's evidence was reduced to hearsay. Screenshots, backups, copies, they were meaningless without the original metadata, timestamps, and authentication. Christine's hands shook as she scrolled through her phone, trying desperately to salvage something, anything, from the digital wreckage. Cody's attorney saw his opening and pounced. Your Honor, until the original evidence can be retrieved or verified, I request that these statements be removed from the record. The judge refused, but the damage was done. Christine froze. The courtroom seemed to tilt around her, every sound muted. And then, in a move that surprised everyone, Robin stood. Your Honor, I can attest that the drive did exist, she said, voice trembling. I've seen the documents. I sent the text that led to its discovery. But I didn't make a copy. I trusted the system. Cody's smile was cold. Not warmth, not regret, pity. A chilling expression that whispered, "You really thought anyone would believe you?" Christine leaned close. You need to tell them what you didn't include. About the night of the deletion. Robin swallowed. The password? Who else had access? The courtroom held its breath. Robin's eyes met Cody's. He stared back, unyielding, frozen in arrogance. He told me to forward the files to someone else, Robin admitted. He said they'd be safer if his cousin worked with them. The judge's brow furrowed. You mean Miss Tamara Hensley? Robin nodded, voice quiet. Yes, but I didn't know she'd been let go. I didn't know she was under investigation. He said she was just helping. Christine closed her eyes. Janelle gripped her shoulder, silent support radiating through the tense air. Then Mary stepped forward. Your Honor, I'd like to testify. A ripple passed through the courtroom. The judge nodded. Mary walked forward slowly, her calm masking exhaustion. Her voice, when it came, was unwavering. I remained silent too long, believing silence meant loyalty. But silence is only a slower way of dying. I accessed Cody's cloud server, under my understanding of spousal privileges. I saw drafts, emails to Tamara, and I printed them out. Christine's voice broke. You printed them? Mary's nod was steady. I didn't trust digital tech. Hard copies were safer. And I kept them hidden. In a safety deposit box, not under my name, just in case. Cody sprang to his feet, voice booming. This is character assassination. They've turned on me because they can't handle the truth. But the courtroom didn't flinch. Cameras, staff, reporters, all of them saw the cracks. The mask was slipping. The judge immediately called for a 20-minute recess. Outside in the hallway, Christine, Janelle, and Mary whispered anxiously. When do we get the papers? Janelle asked. An hour, Mary replied, checking her watch. And then her phone buzzed. Unknown number. 3 chilling words. You're being watched. Christine's eyes widened. Is it him? No, Janelle replied. He wouldn't warn us. Someone else knows. The second message came seconds later. Don't trust the judge. Hearts pounded. The game had grown far bigger than family conflict. Hidden partners, financial entanglements, and shadowed allies had entered the field. That evening, precaution became survival. Mary stayed in a motel under a false identity. Christine and Janelle shut off their phones, drew blinds, and stayed put. Robin retreated alone, unreachable. Cody, meanwhile, was filmed at 2:43 a.m., hauling 2 black containers from a storage facility on the outskirts of town. For the first time, the courtroom itself wasn't revealing the truth. The aftermath, the shadows outside, was. 2 days later, the courtroom lights seemed charged, as if sensing the storm to come. The atmosphere was electric, humming with tension. Lawyers whispered, bailiffs watched, even the camera operators leaned forward expectantly. Christine and Janelle sat upright, no longer shocked, no longer defensive. They were ready. Mary entered, a black bag slung over her shoulder. Every stride heavy with exhaustion, yet marked by unspoken confidence. Inside, the printed emails, the altered wills, the drafts, the proof she'd kept at great personal risk. This wasn't just paper. It was answers. Cody walked in alone, face set into a mask of strategy, anticipation, and calculated control. His lawyers followed like shadows. The judge arrived. Everyone rose, but the ritual felt fractured. Too many minds raced, too many hearts pounded. "We will now accept new evidence presented this morning by Mary Brown," the judge said. Mary's gaze never left Cody's as she presented her case. "These are printouts of the previously deleted emails from Mr. Brown's hard drive. 3 drafts of the altered will, 2 emails detailing financial transfers to Reno, and a non-disclosure agreement between Mr. Brown and Tamara Hensley." Gasps, snapping cameras, a courtroom in chaos. Robin covered her mouth in shock. Cody's neck pulsed as he tried to maintain composure. Christine whispered to Janelle, "It's happening." But tension lingered. Something was missing. The flash drive. The warning texts. The judge's odd behavior 2 days earlier. Nothing added up. Then a whisper. The bailiff leaned forward. "Your Honor, we have an emergency filing from the State Financial Crimes Unit. This court is under audit. Proceedings are suspended for 60 minutes. All parties must remain in the building." Fear replaced shock. Mary's hand tightened around her bag. "They're monitoring me," she whispered to Christine. "It's not just Cody, it's bigger." Outside, Cody paced in small circles, muttering. Robin sat silently. Janelle checked her phone. Another unknown number. "Ask about Desert Clover LLC. He put it all there." Christine's eyes narrowed. She pulled out the printed copies. Bottom left corner, fine print, Desert Clover LLC, Trust Facilitator. Minutes later, an agent from the Financial Crimes Unit arrived. Tall, glasses reflecting the fluorescent lights, expression unreadable. "We've been tracking Desert Clover for 3 years," she said. 7 property flips in Arizona, all funded by cash withdrawals just under federal reporting limits. Janelle's face went white. "Cody's been laundering money?" "The hierarchy of your family was exploited for financial transfers. It began when he legally wed Robin," the agent confirmed. Robin's protest faltered. "I didn't know." He said it was for taxes, consolidation. The courtroom now saw the pattern: manipulation, control, obedience, and federal investigation. The judge, visibly shaken, announced, "I am recusing myself. A federal oversight judge will assume the case tomorrow morning." The gavel struck once, final empty. Cody rose. "This is a witch hunt! I am defending my family." Christine stood too, quietly, resolutely. "No, this is what happens when one man believes every life is his to rewrite. Even his mother's, even ours." Outside, rain threatened. Christine, Mary, and Janelle waited, watching as Cody was escorted into a black SUV. "He's going to flee," Janelle whispered. "Maybe," Christine said. "But now, someone is watching every move." Mary glanced at her phone once more. Another anonymous message, a harbinger of more chaos to come. Another anonymous message, a harbinger of more chaos to come. Mary's words cut through the car's silence, sharp as a knife. She glanced at Christine and Janelle, urgency in her eyes. They didn't wait. The trial had stalled, but the stakes had escalated. What began as a family courtroom drama had spiraled into federal territory, a labyrinth of deception, theft, and betrayal. Television cameras would capture it all if anyone survived to tell the tale. The night air outside the courthouse crackled with tension, an invisible electricity that Mary felt deep in her bones as she drove down the dimly lit side street toward the off-site storage warehouse. Cody had visited it at 2:43 a.m. 2 nights prior. By the time any warrant arrived, whatever he was hiding would vanish deeper into his shadowed empire. Christine's knuckles whitened around the steering wheel. Headlights carved through the darkness like searchlights in a forest of secrets. "He's not just erasing files," Mary said, eyes glued to her phone. "This is about Desert Clover, the shell accounts. The offshore money. He's hiding a much bigger operation." Janelle scanned passing cars from the back seat. "You think he'll be there?" Christine's jaw tightened. When Cody's scared, he clings to control. "He'll be there." The gate to the warehouse loomed ahead, slightly ajar, chain dangling carelessly, as if someone had entered in a rush. Christine paused the car, engine still running. In we go, quick, silent, and no mistakes. Inside, fluorescent lights flickered weakly, casting long shadows as the 3 women crept down the unit hall. Hash 117, the one marked in the leaked surveillance photo, stood before them. The lock was gone. Christine nudged the door open. 2 black crates waited inside, along with a fireproof mini-safe digital keypad blinking impatiently. Cody hadn't locked it. Janelle exhaled sharply. Mary moved forward, opening the first crate. Inside were manila folders, some marked in red. Alt plan, accounts, Flagstaff Trust, and one simply stating, Do not file. Christine opened the second crate. Backup drives, CDs, flash drives dating back to 2015 lay meticulously organized. Janelle inserted one drive into her laptop. Spreadsheets, scanned checks, asset transfers, anonymous consulting payments, offshore wire routes. He's been stealing retirement funds, Janelle whispered. Our accounts? Mom's accounts. The kids' trust, my God. Mary pulled out a printed receipt 3 weeks old. $75,000 wired to a Cayman Islands account marked as a consulting fee. He's stealing it right from under us, Mary said, voice trembling. Suddenly, headlights pierced the darkness. Gravel crunched outside. Christine snapped the laptop shut and lowered the storage door. Through the slats, they saw him, Cody, pacing near his truck, phone in hand, face tight with worry. He knows, Janelle breathed. The camera alert? He's here to clean up. Before he could move, a black SUV with tinted windows rolled in. Out stepped 2 men in suits and a woman displaying a badge. Federal agents, Christine whispered. They're here. Cody stiffened. One agent raised his badge. Cody Brown, we need to talk. Cody glanced at his truck, calculating escape, but stayed. Slowly, he raised both hands. Can this wait? I'm just here for personal storage. We have questions regarding Desert Clover LLC and the deletion of financial documents relevant to an ongoing federal investigation, the agent said, voice crisp. Cody's face twisted. I want a lawyer. Too late. The second agent produced a warrant. Storage unit, house, car, electronics. From their hidden vantage point, the women watched as Cody was handcuffed. You are being held under suspicion of wire fraud, tax evasion, and obstruction of justice, the agent read. Cody said nothing, didn't resist, didn't protest. He simply stared ahead, a man once untouchable rendered powerless. Christine reopened the unit once more. We hand everything in now. No more secrets. No more fear. They loaded the crates into Christine's car and drove straight to the courthouse, where the FBI had set up a temporary evidence station. Nearly 4 a.m. The lead investigator promised protection and immunity. You're not the ones we're after, she said. You're the ones he used. By sunrise, headlines blared. Cody Brown arrested. Federal charges. Financial crimes. News outlets dissected every angle. Robin watched from home, tears streaking her face. Phone rang, Christine. I didn't know, Robin sobbed. I didn't know about the money. You knew he was lying, Christine said softly. That's your truth to live with now. Mary, clutching an envelope containing Alma's original handwritten will, long thought lost, turned it over to the federal agent. Why now? The agent asked. Because now they'll listen, Mary replied. Walls came tumbling down, not only for Cody, but for everyone who had sheltered, ignored, or supported him. Attorneys, companies, even the initial judge. Later, Christine stood on courthouse steps, rain threatening. Reporters clamored for words. She raised her hand, silencing the crowd. It's not about what he did to us, she said. It's about how long we were told we had no voice. That ends now. Across the country, viewers watched silently as the silenced women reclaimed their stories. Not for revenge, but for truth. That evening, Janelle invited them to dinner. Not a celebration, but a quiet beginning. Conversation flowed in fragments. Court, children, the future. Mostly there was silence. Warm, calm, no longer tinged with terror. The federal courtroom awaited. Bigger, colder, sterile. Polished floors echoed each footstep. Security eyes followed every movement. As Christine, Janelle, and Mary passed through metal detectors, the weight of what lay ahead pressed down. A national investigation into a system that had let Cody run unchecked. Robin sat inside already, hands clasped, eyes swollen from tears. The privilege of private grief was gone. When Cody was brought in, handcuffed but chin raised, the gallery fell silent. Once a king of his domain, now just a man behind bars. The new judge, strict, precise, wasted no time. This court is now in session for United States versus Cody Wynn Brown, charged with wire fraud. The courtroom air cut like steel. Financial conspiracy, tax evasion, and obstruction of justice, the prosecutor stated, voice sharp enough to slice through the tension. Cody's defense lawyer, a high-priced, slicked-back stranger from out of town, smirked. Your Honor, my client is not the mastermind here. He's a victim of bad counsel. And the alleged evidence? Obtained under emotionally charged circumstances, driven by personal agendas. Christine almost laughed. Almost. She swallowed it down, maintaining her composure. Janelle muttered under her breath. Here we go. Mary said nothing, her glare locked on Cody, silence more potent than words. Then came the witnesses. The first, a digital forensics expert, dismantled Cody's web of deceit with methodical precision. False shell corporations, international money routes, and abuse of family trust accounts. Patterns deliberate and repeated. Cody's lawyer protested at every point, but the judge's sharp voice overruled him, cutting through excuses. Next, an accountant traced Desert Clover LLC's money, flowing offshore, reappearing in a single domestic property, a secluded Utah cabin purchased under someone else's name, now abandoned. The gallery shifted. Cody hadn't just hidden funds. He had plotted an escape from his own family, a future without them. And then, Robin. Christine's breath hitched as Robin rose, walking toward the stand with measured steps. One glance back, not at Cody, but at Mary. A silent exchange, a universe of hurt and remorse passing between them. Please tell me your name, the prosecutor said. Robin Alice Brown, she replied, voice hollow but precise. Your connection to the defendant? Legal wife, Robin said, tone flat, resigned. Questions followed like a wave. Knowledge of trusts, signing financial documents, awareness of deletions. With every answer, Robin unraveled the truth. Slowly, painfully, but with devastating clarity. He told me, Robin said, voice cracking, that if I ever told anyone, I'd lose everything. The house, the kids' safety, even my name. The defense objected, citing emotional manipulation. The judge allowed it. Robin pressed on. He said the judge in Flagstaff was in his pocket, that the will could vanish, that no one would believe the other wives. They were bitter, irrelevant. The courtroom fell silent. Cody's face twitched, knuckles white. Robin's fear had dissolved. A subtle ripple ran through the gallery. Not applause, not noise, but recognition of liberation. Recess passed. Cody took the stand, restrained but defiant. I want to talk. You think you know me, but you don't. I did what I had to do. I consolidated accounts to preserve what we created. They were the ones who left, not me. I made choices. Perhaps not perfectly, but not fraud. Survival. The prosecutor leaned forward. You deleted the will to survive? Yes, Cody admitted, voice taut. And Desert Clover LLC? To maintain control. Gasps swept through the courtroom. Christine blinked back tears, refusing to let them fall. Janelle grasped her hand. Mary whispered silently, Thank you. Now it's real. The judge adjourned, setting closing arguments for the next morning. Reporters swarmed the lobby. Inside a lounge, Christine turned to Robin. You did the right thing. Too late, Robin murmured. No, Mary said. It's never too late to tell the truth. For the first time, the four women stood united. Not wives, not enemies, but survivors. Cody sat alone that night, words echoing in his cell. He had confessed. He had lost control. Tomorrow, someone else would dictate his fate. The federal courtroom buzzed with anticipation. Security cameras, polished floors, hushed conversations. The women entered silent sentinels of truth, and Robin at the prosecution's table carried both guilt and redemption. Cody, seated between lawyers, face a mask of hardness, was no longer untouchable. The prosecution began, cutting straight. This case is not about marriage or jealousy. It's about deception, deliberate long-term destruction. Mr. Brown didn't just mismanage money. He built a system, control, erasure, and silence. He diverted wealth, erased wills, manipulated trust, and weaponized love against those closest to him. This was not accidental. This was a pattern. The defense tried to humanize Cody, narrating late nights, overwhelming pressure, emotional burden, but each sentence fell flat. The courtroom had seen the evidence, heard the confessions, witnessed the spreadsheets, and felt the heartbreak. Their attempt to soften the narrative was a surrender. The judge's voice cut slow, deliberate. I have reviewed the evidence and testimony. My ruling will be issued within 48 hours. This court is adjourned. Yet even as the gavel fell, the story deepened. That night, a courier delivered an anonymous envelope to the judge. Inside, instructions to follow the money through courthouse employees. Small budget reimbursements, subtle payouts, all tracing to the clerk who handled the flash drive's disappearance. By morning, the clerk's house was empty, phone off, car abandoned. Cody had not acted alone. Christine let the phone fall. He bribed someone. That's how the drive vanished. Mary glared. He didn't just corrupt us. He corrupted the system. Robin, in her kitchen, clutched a hidden voice recorder, the one she used years ago, the first time she had joined the family. Proof. The beginnings of exposure. And this time the storm had no end in sight. When she was told to always protect her side of the story, she pressed play, and there it was. Cody's voice, cold, calculated, unforgiving. If this ever comes down, I'll have someone on the inside. Evidence goes missing all the time. You just have to know the right price. The missing link wasn't missing anymore. It was in Robin's hands. She called the prosecutor. By evening, a warrant was issued for the former clerk. More arrests were coming, more truths unraveling. The empire Cody had built brick by brick was crumbling faster than he could ever rebuild. As the sun set over Arizona, quiet settled across 3 homes. Christine's, where she read the news aloud to her daughter, "He can't hurt us anymore." Janelle's, where she sat on her porch and whispered, "We got out just in time." Mary's, where she finally opened an old journal she hadn't touched in a decade. "I'm free. Now it's your turn." Cody had admitted to what he did, and the world had seen the damage. But the question lingered, did he deserve prison? Or was he just another man undone by the system he tried to manipulate? The morning of the verdict dawned over Flagstaff with an unsettling stillness, as if the heavens themselves were bracing for impact. Inside the courthouse, the air was heavy, every breath suspended. Today wasn't just a sentence, it was a reckoning. Christine, Janelle, Mary, and Robin entered together, not united, but determined. Cameras flashed. Reporters whispered. Cody sat, wrists free, hair slicked back in a vain imitation of confidence, eyes hollow and quivering. The judge entered, silence, one sharp gavel. This court has considered all testimonies, all evidence, and the supplemental recordings, including Robin Brown's late submission, the judge declared, voice firm. What we discovered is not mere financial deception. It is a system of control, coercion, and calculated deceit that spanned years. Mr. Brown, you were the root of this conspiracy. Gasping filled the room. Cody Wynn Brown was found guilty on all charges: wire fraud, tax evasion, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy to commit financial fraud against beneficiaries. You are hereby sentenced to 12 years in federal prison, with parole eligibility after 8 years, full forfeiture of contested assets, and mandatory restitution to victims, including your ex-spouse's and children's accounts. He didn't flinch. Christine left first. Janelle followed. Robin shook, not with grief, but with the enormity of her role in revealing the truth. Mary mouthed silently to Cody, "You took everything but our voices. Now we've taken them back." But the story didn't end there. A sealed inquest was ordered. Other members of the judicial system had likely contributed to the suppression of evidence. Rumors of tampered signatures, manipulated court calendars. The conspiracy ran deeper than Cody alone. The women were thrust into the public eye, podcasts, book offers, documentaries, but they wanted only peace. Christine focused on rebuilding her home and family. Janelle quietly championed economic literacy for women. Mary retreated into the mountains, documenting her healing in solitude. Robin founded a small anonymous support center for women fleeing coercive control. And Cody? Alone in prison, stripped of his empire, faced the echo of his deeds with no audience but himself. Letters went unanswered. Apologies meaningless. Consequences were all that remained. Months later, a revelation shattered the fragile calm. Christine received an attorney's envelope containing documents from a secondary, previously undiscovered family trust. Houses, cars, investments. Cody hadn't lost everything. He had relocated it. Robin found a sealed box in Cody's garage, containing a flash drive with a confession video dated 6 months before his arrest. Cody had boasted of backup plans, hidden trusts, and shell accounts. "No matter what happens, I win because they'll never let go of me. I built their world. They can't live without my name on their lips," he said. The women acted immediately, reopening the estate hearing, stripping Cody's name from all remaining assets. They handed evidence to federal investigators, uncovering unknown storage units, stacks of cash, and old family videos labeled like trophies. Then came Rachel, Cody's half-sister from another branch of the family, revealing decades of hidden financial schemes and manipulations, including a 10-acre plot in New Mexico hiding decades of documents. Among them, diaries, ledgers, photographs, and a journal from a vanished girl named Rose. Rose had been silenced at 14, forced into secrecy for the sake of Cody's legacy. Her last words, I hope someone someday hears me. This time, the women delivered the evidence to authorities handling historical sect abuse, expanding the investigation beyond money, into lives stolen and silenced. Even decades later, they weren't finished. Early production contracts contained hidden trust clauses. Cody's friend Derek Slade had managed secret development funds. New evidence brought fresh FBI investigations, surveillance of enablers, and an ongoing uncovering of the empire Cody had built. Christine, Janelle, Mary, Robin, and Rachel went public as survivors and whistleblowers, reclaiming the narrative. Threats followed, slashed tires, anonymous warnings, but they pressed on, documenting and publishing what they had uncovered. No longer about surviving Cody, it was about dismantling the system that allowed him to survive. And in every revelation, every hidden vault, every confession, one question remained. What would have happened if they had stayed silent? Now, the women stood taller, not because of fame or wealth or revenge, but because they chose to reclaim their stories.